I'm seriously so disappointed with people on the left who are shaming this cop for sleeping with her coworkers. So many people I know and consider allies just saw the headline of police officer sleeps around and decided to let the PC mask slip because ACAB. I'm sorry, but if you abandon your moral code as soon as it's somebody you don't like personally, you just show that those values do not actually run that deep. There are plenty of valid things to bash police officers over. We don't need to go towards some anti-feminist, women-hating. We don't need to promote negative anti-stereotypes. It's just such a fucking cheap shot. And if you're someone who considers himself a feminist and fell into it for the lulz, I really hope you do some introspection here. It's not cool, and this poor woman, I just hope she finds some peace.
Mama say that happiness is from magic rays of sunshine that come down when you're feeling blue.
I honestly think this young queen is seriously confusing Sl4t-Shaming with holding a public servant accountable for doing personal intimacy, or as personal as it can get with a group of men. Ahem. As I was saying, during work hours. These acts were being done on the taxpayer's dime there, queen. If the people you consider political allies are seeing it the same way, I don't condone such shaming. I am saying you can consider the pass on those jokes are prepaid via the tax collectors. If anything, it can be argued the one who is not holding to the moral values is the queen in this video. Ladies, just hear me out for a second. All politics aside, civilians put their tax dollars, trust, and power into civil servant jobs. Being a police officer is one of those jobs. I honestly have to say, regardless of how you feel about police officers, first and foremost, they are professionals who are given enforcing powers in each jurisdiction by the local legislative body, which determines the public purposes that need to be served by legislation. That's according to Roger W. Care's Encyclopedia of the City. Along with that power comes the responsibility. In short, ladies, if you are in need of immediate police assistance, I would figure you would hate to find out help didn't come in time because they were busy playing train terminal conductor with a female officer. I assume you would have minimal issues with the current offhand jokes on a woman who got her rocks off and distracted police services on your tax dollars. Moving on.
Good peeps, real chats. I mean, shame women all you want for sleeping their way to the top, but can we look at the other side of this coin? The reality that if men in power didn't use as a key to unlock the next level of an opportunity, these women probably wouldn't have to sleep their way there. Ooh, let's open another can of worms. The reality that these men in power dominate other men who are working towards something that they can give them access to. Yes, they do. Does that not sound like... But no, it's more fun to shame, right? Make it someone else's fault and not get to the root cause. Because the way I see it, it would be really interesting if there was like an industry list and people called out the people who made them sleep with them to get an opportunity. Because it's actually really sad how often people put out on the table at the mercy of someone looking for an opportunity.
She's going to sink, Captain. But she can't sink. She's unsinkable.
Before I start off, I have to say it again. I do not condone such shaming. And I will also say, this queen just repeated the play of shifting accountability away from the woman. Let me get this straight. Women should not be Sl4t-Shamed for sleeping their way to the top because men of power gave them that option. That makes perfect sense. In fact, using this queen's own logic, men should not be shamed when cheating on their wives because another attractive woman gave him that option. Genius! Why didn't anyone think of this before? Do as this woman did and come up with creative ways not to be held accountable for your own actions. And the other kind of worms of men dominating other men that work towards something that can give them more intimacy access, yeah, that's called a raise. It's not abusive at all to acknowledge that women are attracted to successful men. This queen's mythical connections of that shaming pivoting directly to intimacy mandates fall short. The root cause is not one single thing that could be fixed in 1 second. If it was that simple, I am sure it would have been done by now. But in the end, one of the factors for everyone involved is an individual's choices and accountability for said choices. I'm not justifying someone taking advantage of another person. What I am saying is to completely ignore that corporations have HR departments, which are 70% female dominated, and policies in place to protect workers, and say some M2 list would be a fix is insulting to the HR reps. But hey, who cares if that shade hit its friendly fire, as long as you can try to blame men somehow, right? Moving on.
Okay, I swear the world is trying me today. Today's Monday morning. I just woke up, I checked my email. That's what I do in the morning. And I see that something's been canceled. So I, as you guys know, am a plus size girl. And I work with a lot of brands. I do fashion, I do modeling. So And I never had a problem with any brands not wanting to work with me to model. When they give me the offer, it's a done deal. I negotiate sometimes, but it's a done deal, right? Well, so apparently Shen does not want to work with me. So many hauls that I did with them for free. They never paid me, okay? So I did it all for free. They just gifted me the clothes, and I provided tons of Instagram posts, tons of YouTube videos. Okay, I know I'm rambling, but so they don't want to work with me, you guys, because I have an OnlyFans. That's what they said. Because I have an OnlyFans, they don't want to pay me to model for them. But despite knowing I have an OnlyFans, it's okay for me to do work for them for free. For all those times I made YouTube videos and Instagram photos. They knew I had an OnlyFans, and I've had an OnlyFans for over 2 years now. Never will I ever shop from them or wear their clothes or promote them. Just letting you guys know that this stuff happens to influencers probably on a daily, getting rejected by brands because of their OnlyFans, and it's just a form of discrimination and shaming at the end of the day. It's 2022. We're not going to be shamed for finding a means of income for ourselves. I got myself out of debt, out of stress, made myself financially stable, gave gifts to my family, helped my friends. Like, no one's gonna shame me. So, yeah. Shan.
That was a really long and dragged out way to try and state a form of Sl4t shaming their queen. First of all, I want to say I understand exactly what it feels like waking up in the morning and getting an email from a brand saying they don't want to work with you. It is disappointing, no doubt. Is it an attempt to shame you by not working with you? That will be a no, fam. Secondly, as we all know, private companies have the right not to work with other people or entities. We don't always get what we want. Trust me, I would have loved to have been on Game of Thrones, but they went with dragons instead of gorillas. Go figure. Now, about the queen in this video, all I can say is at least she got a haul out of it. I didn't even get a t-shirt for any of my efforts. So I wouldn't say she worked entirely for free. She did get compensated with some clothing. Look, I get it. Being let down comes with the territory, but at some point, you have to stop and think, if this is a result of me having an OnlyFans account, I should accept accountability for having that account, the good and the bad. Let me give you an example here, ladies. You see my gorilla logo? I know that even with all the advice I give to men and women to help each other understand our points of views, there are going to be those who are just going to yell, misogyny, and not want to work with me. I accept that as a reality. Ladies, it's real simple. You have to take your L's with your W's. And when you try to label an L as a form of Sl4t shaming to try and justify your L, it takes away from the real female victims of Sl4t shaming. Yeah, I said it. I am sorry, but I didn't hear in her video where she was directly referred to as a Sl4t or directly shamed as one. If there is other solid evidence that undeniably points out the company in question directly shamed this model, I am ape enough to admit I was wrong. Now, let me make this clear. I don't condone Sl4t shaming of women, just like I don't condone height or dong size shaming of men. I have said this before, ladies. There is a difference between being a victim of real abuse and your imagination of abuse. Let me put it this way, ladies. You don't see a big movement of women claiming that when they went to a job interview and didn't get the job, it was a form of resume shaming. Trying to get a gig with a brand is very similar. Your content, your brand, and your following translate into your resume. And if you didn't get the gig, you just didn't get the job. I can tell you, this gorilla has had plenty of rejections, and you don't see me yelling, primate shaming, you don't want this gorilla to gorilla. Moving on.
What's an opinion you have that might piss some people off?
Based on my years of experience interacting with the opposite sex, I can pretty safely say that men that are really insecure about a woman's body count have little penises. Hear me out. Hear me out. Guys that really care about how many guys another woman has slept with are usually scared and intimidated because they think they won't be able to satisfy her. The less men a woman slept with, the more likely the guy is able to please her because she doesn't have enough to go on, really. Like, it's pretty much like a guy will really prefer to have a virgin because then she doesn't know any better. Like this is what she gets, so she doesn't know any better, so there's no possible way he could disappoint, right? So that's why every time I see a guy that's like, oh, she's got a body count of more than 3, she's a you just got a little pee-pee. That's pretty much what I think. Either that or you already know that you're in bed.
Oh, Queen, you kicked off this gem with the default female outdated plays of deflecting and shaming to somehow dwarf your personal choices and avoid accountability. Would a man be wrong to try a form of intimacy shaming on women? More than likely, yes. Would a woman be wrong to shame men in the same manner? Again, more than likely, yes. He is insecure about a woman's body count means he has got a little dong. This is just gold, Queen. And when she said, guys who care about how many other guys a woman has slept with are scared and intimidated, Queen, I too would be scared of how many gifts that keep on giving a woman with a high body count might have. Not to mention, a woman with a high body count has difficulties pair bonding. The ability to satisfy a woman is not at the top of the list. Queen, did it occur to you that maybe the reason men prefer virgins doesn't have to do with him measuring up to another man and has more to do with the risks I mentioned are greatly lowered, along with the chances of an LTR with her are much higher. Think of it this way, Queen. If you were going to invest a lot of money into a handbag, would you buy a used bag that 10 other women have pre-used, or would you buy a brand new bag at the department store for the same high price? Hey, if you like a bag with stains, tears, and scratches, more power to you. There's a reason department stores sell out of their new collections of tote bags, though. It's because some women want everything new, but expect men to pay full price for something used. Moving on.
Let's talk about shaming. Before we go into this, let's define what actually mean. According to Google, is someone with multiple casual partners, and a is a prostitute. These terms are thrown around so loosely nowadays. Like, it's crazy. But I've been called a and I'm a virgin. That being said, in my opinion, there is no excuse to use these words. Like, at the end of the day, we're in 2021. Both women and men should be allowed to have sex with people without the judgment. Like, if you want to go and have one-night stands, go and have one-night stands. If you want to have friends with benefits, go have friends with benefits. As long as you are safe and happy and it's 100% consensual, why should it matter? Why should we have to be worried about being degraded by the term just because we want to explore ourselves? At the end of the day, our body count shouldn't define our worth and definitely shouldn't define how much respect we're entitled to. Okay, I've actually run out of time, but if you want me to talk about this more, please give this a like and a share.
Really? Well, in that case, a man's height, income, employment status, physical shape, looks, possessions, or penis size should not be used by women to define his worth. Oh, I think my female viewers just screamed, "It's different!" to this young queen who claims she is untouched. Hey, it sucks when someone uses a negative label on you. One more time, I do not condone intimacy shaming of any kind. Men are not immune to that either. Hurt feels on a subject does not equate to swaying other people's world views. This right here is an example of the female privilege of not having to live in reality when they are young, attractive, and fertile. Men have to live in reality and must become attractive in order to attract women. Sl4t shaming is nothing compared to the reality shaming women give men. I'm not justifying it. I'm just pointing it out. Ladies, it may come as a shock to you, but along with women's rejection, shaming is stitched in often. How many guys have been told, "I like taller men," or "You can't afford to date me," or "I need a man who can pay my bills"? Men wish they were only called sleuths. Check your privilege here, queen. Another thing is, no one is entitled to respect. I have said it before, respect is earned, not given. Ladies, you can have all the one-night stands you want, but you can't demand not to be judged for it. That's like you going out to multiple coffee shops, yelling at the employees for not getting your latte right, and then say no one should ever call you a Karen for it. I'm just saying. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.